What is going on? Jim Alexander here with Real Talker. And yes, you see the lineup of superstar names right behind me. Uh, there we go. All of these fighters are going to be fighting and appearing, obviously, at UFC 300. A monumental card. Obviously, it is super deep. You just look at the faces behind me. We're going to have a heck of an event. So yeah, there's been some controversy about the main event of the card being Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira. Um, and that it's not big enough of a fight that we wanted something bigger. Izzy Adesanya maybe versus Alex Pereira, or obviously maybe Conor McGregor. You wanted to have a big sort of name here, but it might not be the biggest main event, but this card is stacked. So I'm going to go through the card and kind of give my predictions and a little bit of a breakdown of what you can expect. And then we'll have to tune in on Saturday night, April 13th from Las Vegas at UFC 300 from a T-Mobile Arena. So that's going to be a wild show for sure. All right, so let's start. Let's start. The crazy thing about this card, it's the preliminaries are stacked, and even like the early preliminaries are they look like a fight night, like a main event fight night card, literally. And if you combine the early preliminaries with the prelims, the regular one, it could be a random UFC pay-per-view. It's a good enough card easily to be a regular pay-per-view. That's not a 300, a 304 or whatever number you pick. That preliminary card in total could definitely be good enough to be a main card, which is wild to think how stacked this whole pay-per-view is. So let's start out with the early prelims. Davison Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. Davison is number 8 right now in the bantamweight division. Cody isn't ranked. Cody's last. This is going to be an interesting fight, especially for preliminaries. I mean, it's wild that that we get to see this in prelims. But um, when you look at these two here, Cody's last fight was in December, where he won at UFC 296 against uh, Keller. He fought Keller on that card, so not too long of a layoff there since his last fight at 296. But man, this is going to be a little bit of a step up here with Davidson Figueiredo because you're talking about a guy that's been a champion who went into four pack fight with Brandon Moreno. Those will be always remember as classics. And Figueiredo's last fight was against Rob Font on a fight night on December 2nd. So they both fought in December, and Davis and Figueiredo won. So I mean, the guys is 22-3-1. Okay, so we're talking about and a couple of those losses could be tested to Brandon Moreno here. This is a tough fighter, and do not look past his record maybe being a little bit blemished through the Brandon Moreno fights. Brandon Moreno is the top of the class sorry fighter. So plus 250 here for Cody Garbrandt, and I would not be betting that. I would go here with Davidson Figueiredo. I just think he's a little bit too much here for Cody in this match, and it's he does have the height advantage on Davidson Figueiredo by 3 inches, and but Davidson Figueiredo surprisingly has a 68 inch reach versus 65 and a half from Cody Garbrandt. So, if you kind of over the only thing really here that Cody has on him is a little bit of height, but and a 14-5 record isn't as impressive. I just think this is going to be a fun fight, a fun bantamweight bout, but I would go with Davidson Figueiredo here to take that. Now, the other highly anticipated fight here on this card is and these are early preliminaries, by the way. So this is you better tune in early in the afternoon here to check these out. It's Bobby Green in a lightweight bout versus Jim Miller, everyone's favorite, Jimmy Miller. Bobby Green, number 14 ranked in a lightweight division. Jimmy Miller is not ranked right now. Bobby's last fight was on December 2nd. He had a fight night there. And yeah, and Jim Miller's last bout was I actually forgot the day here. Looking it up. When Jim Miller fought last. I'll get it in a second. But yeah, so you have a favorite of everyone here in Jim Miller. People will love Jim Miller. Okay, pull it up. Jim Miller actually fought in January. Yeah, it was pretty recent. He had a win over Benitez on a fight night, January 13th. So not too long of a layoff here for Jim Miller. But Jim Miller is at the end of the line. We all know. Tremendous career. One of the most wins ever. 37 wins and 17 losses for Jim Miller here entering this fight. You know what you're getting with the Jim Miller fight. This is going to be a brawl. These two guys are going to go at it. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be hard hitting. It's going to be fun. As you know what you get with a Jim Miller fight. So really excited to see him on the card of 300. Ultimately, Jim Miller is underdog plus 150, so not a huge dog here. But I do expect the younger Bobby Green here to pull this one off and beat Jim Miller. So if you want to call it main event of the early preliminaries is uh Jessica Andrade in a women's strawweight bout versus Marina Rodriguez. So Andrade number 4, Marina is number 6. So this is a big ranking shifter here potentially. When you look at it, Andrade is such a proven fighter. Coming off a win on November 11th at UFC 295 against Mackenzie Dern. That was a really fun and man, did those two really go at it. It was a bloody bout. It was a really exciting, entertaining fight. If you didn't see that one, I'd urge you to go check out. As far as Marina Rodriguez, she had a win over Waterson Gomez on a fight night back in September. So there's a bit of a longer layoff here for Marina. But she's got a 17-3-2 record, so she's proven also in a lot of ways. She's a plus 114 dog here in this fight, and I have a hard time going against Andrade. She's just such a prolific, experienced fighter. Yeah, she's got 12 losses, so she's prone to losing. She also has 25 wins. But I wouldn't go against Jessica unless it's a top fighter that's going against her here. I think she's sort of a safe money. She always has the height disadvantage. She's clocking in at 5'1" versus a 5'6" Marina Rodriguez here. Also, Marina, basically, when it comes to the numbers, she takes it all. Reach 65 to 62. It just I like the experience of Andrade here. Not to say that both women aren't experienced, but I'm taking Andrade here with the under. And then the main event of the early preliminaries. This is insane that this is early preliminaries. Jalen Turner in a lightweight bout against Renata Moicano. This one is going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to Jalen Turner versus Moicano. Man, Jalen Turner had a fight with Bobby Green, basically a no decision back in December. So he's running it back from December. So like I guess it's not that long of a layoff here for Jalen and Bobby Green. Um, and man, Moicano is just one of those guys that it's hard to go against because he brings it. Not to say that Julio Turno doesn't bring it, but Moicano does have a better record here. Jalen Turner is 14-7, Moicano 18-5. There is a height disadvantage. Jalen is a tall guy, 6'3". Moicano's no shorty at 5'11". The reach 77 inches for Jalen, 72 for Moicano. So when it comes to that, the height and the reach advantage does go favor Jalen. Um, but I do like I said, Moicano's experience too. And I think he's sort of a big fighter, really. If you have to really kind of break it down. I like that he's willing to go the distance. He will take a punishment. And he fights a lot. He just came off of February um, 3rd win at UFC Fight Night against Dober. So I like him. I think he's a fighter that just doesn't take much breaks and really just kind of always at it. And I like Moicano here as the plus 195 betting dog here. So I would actually that I would take that. I would take those numbers and I'll take Moicano here. And that would conclude the early preliminaries here, which is wild. Now let's go into the actual prelims. And the first fight here is going to be a featherweight bout. Two fighters are really fun to watch. Sadiq Youssef and Diego Lopes. Uh, Diego Lopes, man, it's Youssef is a number 13 fighter. Lopes is unranked, should be ranked. Had a really fun, nice win over Sabatini on November 11th at 295. I just really like Lopes. The haircut, man. I'm doing the Diego Lopes haircut. I'm sporting that. Uh, Kind of the boy band, swoosh to the side. Um, but Sadiq is no joke here. He's coming in as a favorite. He beat Barboza at Fight Night in October. Uh, and Barboza is a fighter that is very experienced. Actually, I take that back. He lost that match to Barboza. Yeah, I'm like, didn't yeah. My bad. I said he won. He lost. As Barboza, as I was gonna say, is a tough fighter. So getting through him is no easy task, and that's one of the three losses for Yusuf, who's 13-3. But you know we have here as him as the dog at plus 142. Diego Lopes is very experienced, 23-6. Height wise here, Lopes is 5'11", 5'9" for Sadiq. I do like Lopes in this fight, though. He's just a guy that you kind of know what you're getting from in this fight and in this realm. So, um, minus 142, I think I lean toward Diego Lopes with a minus 142 because I just like the fighter here more, and I think the ranking should be reversed. I think Lopes should be number 13 here, and Sadiq shouldn't be ranked. Now for the fight that everyone's talking about, it's gotten a lot of hype. The women's bantamweight bout between Holly Holm and Kayla Harrison. Now everyone's been excited to see Kayla Harrison jumping in here to the UFC. This is her debut match. she does have a record of 16-1, so we know what she's accomplished in the fighting game. Kind of very hyped, Kayla Harrison coming into this, but Holly Holm is number fifth in the division, very experienced. Although she's coming off a loss to Silva back in July 13th, 23. I This one's a tough one to call. I mean, when you're looking at the odds, there's no odds for this one. I think it might be actually pick 'em for that as of right now. They don't have the odds released. The numbers are even they're so similar. Holly Holm does have a 3 inches in reach, 69 inches to 66, but they're both 5'8". Like I said, debut fight for Kayla Harrison. We don't know really what to expect. Will she continue bringing her sort of mystique about her and the dominance that she's bringing over here to the UFC? But UFC is a different game here. This one is really a pickup. It's a tough one for me, but I'm going to buy the hype of Kayla Harrison, and I'm going to take her here in a close fight. I think it's going to be definitely a decision, and I like her to pulling this off in a close bout against Holly Holm. So that's one to look out for. Now, the co-main event of the prelims, Calvin Kattar and Aljo Sterling. Okay, so Sterling number 2 in the featherweight, Calvin Kattar number 8. This is going to be an exciting one. There's some good hype coming into this one. Both guys are coming off a loss, actually, in their last 2 fights. So that's kind of interesting here. Obviously, Sterling losing to Sean O'Malley, the champion, back in August. So it's been a little bit of a layoff for Aljo, who's taken some time off, had some injuries. But the Funkmaster is coming back here, still 23-4. I mean, it's just a dominant guy in a featherweight division here. So, he's trying to pick up a win. Calvin Kattar also coming off a fight night loss to Allen on October 29th. So 23-7. Also a guy that's been around, but Aljo's minus 162, Calvin Kattar plus 136. So the odds aren't crazy here. Aljamain Sterling isn't a heavy favorite, but in my eyes he is. I think he picks up this win here and gets back on the winning streak, maintains his number 2 ranking status. I think you could see here a submission. I see Aljo winning here with a submission. I wasn't giving some of the predicted win types here early on, but I felt like the bigger name as we go on this card, as I break him down, I can kind of go a little bit deeper into that. So I have Aljo winning here. I'd say this one goes 3 rounds and Aljo winning in round 3. I also have Kayla Harrison and Holm going 3 previously. Light heavyweight bout here, the main event of the prelims. It's a good one. Yuri Parashka, number 2 in the light heavyweight division, versus Alexander Rakic, the number 5th fighter. This one is going to be a bond burner, as they call it. I expect a lot of physicality here. I think it's going to be on the mat. I think they're going to do stand up. Yuri Parashka, very experienced. Both guys also coming off losses here. So that's interesting. Yuri Parashka, 29-4-1, 14-3 for Rakic. When it comes to height, they're both really tall guys. Rakic 6'4", Yuri 6'3". Reach is almost the same, 80 in favor of Yuri, 80-78. What I'm looking here is definitely an experienced fighter in Yuri Parashka. But Alexander Rakic is definitely a worthy contender here Like I said, both guys are coming off losses. Yuri Prochazka to Pereira. Alex Pereira is now main eventing this card, but that was a closer fight than I think was kind of talked about. The Alex Pereira and Prochazka fight at UFC 295 and back in November in New York. I really thought it was a close fight. I think it could have gone either way. I think Alex Pereira just edged him out, but that was no cakewalk here for the champ now of the division. So Yuri Prochazka rightfully right there, still at the top of this division as a number 2 fighter. Rakic had a loss on May 14th. So we're talking about a guy that's been out of action to Jan Blachowicz back in May 14th of 22. So we're almost talking here about a 2-year layoff. Almost, yeah, a month shy of 2 years here of Rakic. I like the freshness here that Yuri Prochazka is bringing. Um, he's fought back in November. He's has a lot of fights under his belt. Uh, 2 years off is significant, but um, he's the favorite here, Rakic, at minus 120. Yuri Prochazka plus 100. I'm taking that all day. I think Yuri takes him out in 3 rounds, and I'm gonna go with a knockout here. Yeah, I think Yuri Prochazka is going to knock out Alexander Rakic and in a really fun fight here too. I think they're going to do a little bit. I think mostly I see him standing up, but Yuri likes to get on the ground. I can see him taking him Rakic down sometimes here, but this is a main card worthy fight, no question. Same thing with the Calvin Kattar and Aljo Sterling and the Kyla Harrison and Holly Holm fight. I mean, like I said, this could be a main card. Um, I think the fight that many were kind of surprised and people wanted booted down into order here, that's going to start out the main card, could have been a main event. I would have liked to switch the Yuri Prochazka or even you could have had for the hype's sake, Kyla Harris and Holly Holm start out the main card here and move Bo Nickel and Cody Brun Brundage down to the main event of the prelims. Bo Nickel, very hyped fighter here. People love him. Obviously, a Penn State product here. Very highly touted middleweight bout here between Bo Nickel, Cody Brundage. Bo Nickel, heavy favorite, minus 2,000 and 2,100. So we are talking about Cody being a plus 1,100 here. So this is heavily Vegas thinking here that Bo Nickel is going to take out Cody in quick manner here, and heavily favored. I said Bo Nickel 5-0, in his professional career here in the UFC, 10-5 for Cody Brundage. When it comes to height, they're very similar. 6'1" for Bo Nickel, 6 foot for Cody. Reach, yeah. Bo Nickel does have 4 inches at 76 inches versus 72. But like I said, the big thing here is that you have Bo Nickel, with a perfect record. Also, Cody coming off a win too, versus Reese December 2nd. So on a fight night there, so he fought pretty recently. Bo Nickel last fight, almost a year ago, when he fought Woodburn at 290, UFC 290, July 8th. So it's been, I believe that was International Fight Week too. So it's been a bit of a layoff for Bo Nickel, the very hyped fighter here, coming into this fight, kind of a UFC prodigy. And it's interesting because he's got 2 wins by knockout, 3 wins by submission, 5 first round finishes. So he's finished everyone. I think that's why the bookies are going here with a huge you know, uh, favorite here for Bo Nickel here to finishing in the first round. I think he probably will finish in the first round. You really don't want to go against Vegas often, but I do see Bo Nickel probably having a submission win against Cody Brundage here in the opening bout. So I think they put this as in on the main card to kind of get that hype up for Bo Nickel to see him, either tap out someone or knock out someone quickly. This was originally scheduled to be the second fight on this card, but kind of fans rebelled against that. They moved it to the opening bout, which I kind of like. As if it's going to be a squash sort of knockout or quick submission, you want that to be kind of the starting um, fight here on the card. Now, the number 2 fight here on this card is a really good one. I'm excited about it. It should be an exciting lightweight bout. Number 1 contender Charles Oliveira versus being a dog here, a plus 188 Charles Oliveira, which is insane. Versus Arman Sarukian, number 4 fighter, who's had a lot of sort of hype, minus 225 here on the betting lines. Really, everyone's kind of going here with Arman as a favorite, which is sort of surprising because we kind of forgot how good Charles Oliveira is in so many ways. So man, if you look at the numbers here, both guys are coming off of wins. Charles Oliveira, super experienced, 34-9, won no contest. Arman, 21-3. Like I said, when it comes, Oliveira's got 3 inches on him in height, 5'10 versus 5'7. Reach, Oliveira also 74 inches to 72 and a half. But I'm just kind of surprised that Arman is getting that much, play in Vegas really here. He is coming off a win against Beneil Dariush on December 2nd on a fight night. Really, really impressive win there. He's 21-3, so this guy's no chop liver. 9 wins by knockout, 5 by submission, 8 first round finishes. So the guy can go for sure. But man, Charles Oliveira is hard to bet against. I wouldn't want to go against Oliveira, who is also coming off a win against Beneil Dariush on. They both beat Dariush basically on June 10th, 23 here. Oliveira 34-9, just super impressive. Recent lightweight champion before the new Khabib is Islam is running the show now. But 10 wins by knockout, 21 by submission. He's a submission guy. This should be a really good, fun fight. I expect this. I think Arman's going to try to knock him out. I think he's going to be going for that. That's most of his wins there, but he can get submissions too. But I'm taking a plus 185 and going with Charles Oliveira here. I think he both, like I said, coming off wins versus Beneil Dariush, but I like Oliveira here. I think he will quiet the critics here. He will maintain his number 1 ranking status. The winner here is going to go against Islam Makhachev. So this is a basically a bout for number 1 contender here. So if Arman can pull it off, it'll make things really interesting. Him going against Islam Makhachev. We have seen Charles Oliveira against Islam, and that was quick. Quick work there by Islam, and then one of the biggest shockers there that we really had. But yeah, I will take Charles Oliveira here to win by submission. So yeah, I'm taking Oliveira submission round 3. Okay, the most fun fight of the night. I think the one very fan favorite here is a lightweight bout for the BMF title. Number 2 ranked lightweight Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. Okay, number 2 guy also in the lightweight division. So two guys that are just really fun and fan favorites. Holloway coming off a win on a fight night against Young on August 26th. Uh, I mean, he's Max is Max. You know what you're getting. A guy will go to the limit, always could get bloodied up, beat up. He just wants to put on a show. And same thing can be said for Justin Gaethje, coming off that really impressive win at that BMF title fight at UFC 291 against Dustin Poirier on July 29th. So it's been a little bit of time off for uh, Justin Gaethje here, but 20 wins by knockout, 9 first round finishes. He's a knockout guy, 26-4 overall record. You got two brawlers here, guys that just like to go at it and you know, really just go for it. You know, very similar numbers here. 5'11", both guys, 70-inch reach for Gaethje, 69 for Max Holloway. I think just fans are going to eat this fight up. You know, Mac's been around for a while, 25-7 record. He's just one of those guys that's always, you know, always lingering near the top of the rankings. Fans, like I said, love him. I expect this one to be just a he just beat him up sort of fight. I do expect it to go 3 rounds and Justin Gaethje winning by split decision here in 3 rounds. So that's what I'm expecting here. So really close, good fight. Zhang Weili and Yan Xiaonan. Okay. This is going to be a women's strawweight title bout. Zhang Weili, the champion. The odds here are none right now. By the way, going back to the Max was plus 142, minus 170 for Gaethje, so pretty close their odds. But Zhang Weili is just an absolute dominant champion. Xiaonan is number 1 here contender entering this. Coming off win, 17-3 record, 1 no decision, no contest. Zhang Weili, 24-3. I mean, these are both Chinese fighters. You know, height wise, 5'4" Zhang Weili versus 5'5", same reach at 63 inches. Numbers wise, they're very similar in that aspect. Xiaonan coming off a win versus Jessica Andrade. That was a very impressive win. It's basically for that, you know, number 1 kind of contender ranking on May 6th and 23 at UFC 288. Listen, she's 17-3. She's got 8 wins by knockout, 8 first round finishes. She's a sniper. So Zhang Weili might have one of her toughest tests here coming in, but we're talking about the champ, and the champ, you know, coming off in August 19 win at 292 over Lemos. 11 knockouts, 8 submission wins, 11 first round finishes, 24-3. She can do it all. I mean, this one I think is going to be really close and good. Okay, so when we're looking at the odds here, there's no odds right now, but I am predicting Xiaonan will upset Zhang Weili by decision here in the 5th round after 5 rounds. Yes, I have a tough match, some ground game here, standing up. I think we will see blood here, just as we will indefinitely. I guarantee we will see that in the Gaethje Max Holloway fight. Bloody, busted up, but I think this is going to be a really intense, close, good fight that will ultimately go to a new champion here that I'm predicting. Zhang Weili dropping the title. So that's my big kind of prediction here on this pay-per-view. And the main event, a little bit criticized, but it is what it is. It's Jamal Hill, the number 1 contender for the light heavyweight title, versus Alex Pereira, the champion. And we mentioned earlier how he won that title from Yuri Prochazka. So the odds here are very close, actually. Alex Pereira favorite minus 135, Jamal Hill plus 114. So they're expecting here a close bout. If you look at the numbers here, Alex Pereira is still kind of new to UFC, but been pretty dominant. Besides, the loss to basically Izzy Adesanya. He's 9-2, and Jamal Hill 12-1, one loss. Both of them coming off a win in their last fights. Both guys are 6'4", reaches exactly the same 79 inches. You know, this is as closely as it is when it comes to stats and kind of body type and everything like that. So there's going to be no advantage here with height or reach or anything like that. Alex Pereira obviously coming off a huge win versus Yuri Prochazka back in November at UFC 295. Like I said, that was a close call here. It could have gone actually to Yuri's way too. 7 wins by knockout, 3 first-round finishes here. He's a knockout guy, is Alex Pereira, and we know he's got that power. But so is Jamal Hill. Um, his last win when he won the title prior to his injury was January 21st in 23. So we're talking about a guy that's been out for over a year here over Glover Teixeira. And Glover Teixeira, as many know, is the mentor, kind of close best friend of Alex Pereira. They're super tight. Um, Jamal Hill, 4-fight win streak, before the injury, had the championship, had to relinquish it. 7 wins by knockout, 4 first-round finishes. The guy can go. Sweet Dreams is his nickname for a reason. He puts you to sleep, especially when most of his wins coming as knockouts. So this should be a really good one. I think this one goes a distance. I think it goes 5. And I think we get a split decision here. Again, I think Alex Pereira gets by just kind of like he did with the Yuri Prochazka. I think it's going to be a close fight where both guys, you know, could have a gripe about who won. I think Jamal Hill will look really good coming off the injury. I expect this to be a top-notch match. I think these guys will absolutely deliver. And maybe to the gripes of many out there who didn't want to see this as the main event. And granted, I was one of them. I thought they could have done a little bit stronger, but based on how they laid out the previous cards, you didn't have Volk available, you didn't have Sean O'Malley available. Dustin Poirier wasn't available because you had him booked in the last couple of pay-per-views. So it really took away some options, booking some of these guys earlier this year. Maybe you could have had Izzy here, was the hope that Izzy would headline this card versus Alex Pereira probably instead of Jamal Hill. But Jamal Hill does deserve his rematch. He never dropped this title. He had to relinquish it due to injury. And kind of there's a built-in storyline here, defeating the mentor of Alex Pereira, Glover Teixeira, and basically retiring Teixeira in the process here. There's some bad blood here, and there's definitely history here too. So it's the right fight for Alex Pereira. I would have liked this to be the co-main event. I still stand by that. I would have liked Duplessis maybe here, but I understand that was a quick turnaround for him too. I believe he fought in um, January or December. One of those. I think it might have been December. No, January. Yeah. So back in Toronto. That's Carter was in Canada. But so yeah, it would have been a quick turnaround. But it's fine. This is what we're getting, and I think these guys will definitely deliver on the fight. So Pereira here, although kind of the guts telling me Jamal Hill might win with a knockout in round 2. I don't know. I'm just something saying that, but I'm still gonna go with my mind, not my heart, here, kind of telling me that my gut, basically. I'm not going with my gut here. I think, smart money would say Alex Pereira kind of retains here. But in a fight that might be worthy of a run back for them to run it back. I think Jamal Hill might have some gripes. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, a card stacked. The big surprise for me, I think, is Wan Jay Lee losing is my prediction. As far as the fight of the night, I think it's going to be between Gaethje and Holloway or Oliveira and Sarukian. I'm gonna go smart money says Holloway and Gaethje are gonna put on a hell of a show, BMF fight. I think we all know that. I think that's gonna be the fight of the night. There's gonna be definitely some bonuses handed out too, for sure. You have so many great fighters. Like I said, do not sleep on the preliminaries here, especially the preliminaries are going to be exciting. You have some big time fighters and all Joe Sterling, Yuri Parashka, Holly Holm, and of course, even the early prelims, Jessica Andrade is there. You have really Jim Miller, Bobby Green. You really have huge names, and that's why they're all behind me here on the screen, as you can see. Just a star loaded event, really, from top to bottom. Yeah, it starts at the bottom, goes to the top. Every match here on the card is worthy of being a match on a card. It really is. There's no duds or sleepers here, and sleepers in a sense, like matches could steal the night. I think there's a few of them. I think the Yuri Parashka one and Rakic could be one of them, and Holly Holm and Kyla Harrison for sure too. Bobby Green, Jim Miller. Man, it's just so many choices here. It's tough to pick, but make sure you start watching this early. Okay, it's gonna probably be a a long night. Okay, we're talking about probably like a 7 hour card worth seeing with all these matches. It's hard to find a card that stacked. So they really did stack it deep. So say what you will about Dana and the main event here and the co-main event maybe not being worthy enough of that. But man, you got some top name fighters and some really good matches to be expected here for 300. Super excited about it, looking forward to it, and so should you. Uh, UFC 300. Wow, 300 of them already. It kind of flown by. You just think of some of these other ones, and they're like, wow, 200 was 100 away. I kind of can remember 200. Some of the fighters still from it. But yeah, it moves fast. These cards, so make sure you not miss it this Saturday, April 13th for the card. The main card starting at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. It's gonna be a late start. And the preliminary starting at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, and the early prelims are going to be at 5 p.m. Central, 6 Eastern. So there you go. So the early prelims, by the way, for those of you who want to check it out, it's going to be on UFC Fight Pass. So the Fight Pass is going to have them. The regular preliminaries are going to be on ESPN, ESPN Plus, possibly ABC. Not sure about that. Don't quote me on ABC. But ESPN and ABC, ESPN Plus will definitely have it. And the main one, of course, you're going to have to order it on ESPN Plus for pay-per-view. So there it is, UFC 300, very exciting card. Make sure not to miss it. In the meantime, do not miss that subscribe button. Please click on it. I greatly appreciate it. It costs you nothing, and it actually helps me do these sort of videos and talking to you guys. So please subscribe if you like this. Thumbs up. Leave that thumbs up. And if you have comments, thoughts, questions, opinions, gripes, let me know in the comments section. What do you think about the pay-per-view? What are your thoughts on UFC 300? What match are you looking forward to the most? What could be a sleeper? What do you think is maybe potentially overrated? Share your thoughts with me in the comments below. And also make sure to follow me on social media at the Jim Alexander. That's Jim Alexander. That's on all social media. So we're talking about TikTok, X, and Instagram, among others, and also at The Real Talker. That's TheReel Talker, not talker, um, but at Real Talker on the same social media platform. So until next time, enjoy UFC 300. I know I will. Hey, if you don't have the money or short on funds or don't have a big group to order a pay-per-view, head on out to a local Dave and Buster's or Buffalo Wild Wings. I know I go to Dave and Buster's a lot to watch them. They have the fights on the big screen. If you like a crowd around you, you can really enjoy it. Have some good snacks. They're not paying me to support them or anything. I'm just talking about my own experience, where I like to go to have some wings at Beat Ups or at Dave and Buster's to enjoy the fights. They have them there for sure, Dave and Buster's. But check your local Dave and Buster's and Buffalo Wild Wings if you want to go check out the fight that way. If you don't want to be at the comfort of your own home for all these hours. But anyway, till next time, I'm Jim and I'm out.